Hello and welcome. You're watching World News. I'm Neha Shukla. Here are headlines. In Afghanistan, Reuters India chief photographer Danish Siddiqui killed in terror attack. Pulitzer winner journalist had been covering the situation in Kandahar. England's COVID crisis could return quickly, warns chief medical officer ahead of UK lifting most pandemic restrictions from July 19. And in Australia, Delta variant cases among fully vaccinated people causing worry. Sydney reported bulk COVID cases. Reuters India chief photographer Danish Siddiqui killed in Afghanistan. The Pulitzer Prize winner journalist had been covering the situation in Kandahar over the last few days. Reuters India chief photographer Danish Siddiqui was killed in Afghanistan while covering clashes in Spin Boldak district in Kandahar. The Pulitzer winner journalist had been covering the situation in Kandahar over last few days. Afghan news channel Tolo News reported. Afghanistan's ambassador to India Farid Mumunzai confirmed the news on Twitter. Deeply saddened by the sad news of murder of a friend Danish Siddiqui in Kandahar last night. Indian journalist and Pulitzer Prize winner was with Afghan security forces when they were attacked by terrorists. His tweet read, Afghan forces clashed with Taliban fighters in Spin Boldak after they launched an operation to retake the vital border crossing with Pakistan. AFP reported. In 2018, Siddiqui and his colleague Adnan Abidi became the first Indians to receive the Pulitzer Prize for feature photography for documenting the Rohingya refugee crisis. Siddiqui has also covered the 2020 Delhi riots, the COVID-19 pandemic, the Nepal earthquake in 2015, Battle of Mosul in 2016-17 and the 2019-2020 protests in Hong Kong. The highly contagious Delta variant has caused the biggest threat to Australia's coronavirus disease response in months as the number of fully vaccinated people catching the infection is rising. A nurse at Westmead Hospital in New South Wales and a worker at the Brisbane International Airport are reported to have COVID-19 despite being fully vaccinated against the disease, according to The Guardian. Australia reported 103 new confirmed COVID-19 cases on Friday, and the bulk of it came from Sydney, taking the total caseload in the ongoing outbreak, which began a month ago, to more than 1,000. The latest COVID-19 outbreak in Australia has claimed 2 lives and 75 patients have been hospitalized. While the number is still low as compared to the rest of the world, the resurgence is a sharp turnout for a country that was successful in keeping small flare-ups in check for months. The state of Victoria has announced some form of lockdown conditions for Sydney, the epicenter of the virus outbreak in the country. New South Wales Chief Health Officer Carrie Chan said, I can't stress to the community my absolute concern that we need to work harder at reducing mobility and reduce our interactions with others. Experts have warned of more breakthrough infections with the rapid spread of Delta variant, saying the vaccines are not perfect. Hassan Wali, an associate professor in epidemiology at La Trobe University in Australia, said that vaccination and PPE aren't fail-safe even though they reduce the risk of infection, The Guardian reported. Critics have blamed the resurgence on low vaccination rates, frequent changes in vaccine guidance leading to hesitancy and lax quarantine at the international border. Less than 10% of the Australian population has been fully vaccinated, which is below many developed nations. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has blamed the low vaccination rate on supply shortages of Pfizer's vaccine and the restrictions on AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine due to the blood clot scare. England's coronavirus crisis could return again surprisingly quickly, and the country is not yet out of the woods, Chief Medical Officer Chris Whitty said on Thursday ahead of the lifting of legal restrictions. The government is removing most pandemic restrictions in England from July 19, saying a rapid rollout of COVID-19 vaccines has largely broken the link between infections and serious illness or death. Whitty said that the doubling time for hospitalizations was currently around 3 weeks, and that low number of people in hospital with COVID-19 currently could rise to serious levels over the next couple of months. Whitty added, it doesn't take many doubling until we are in actually quite scary numbers again. I don't think we should underestimate the fact that we could get into trouble again surprisingly fast. We are in much better shape due to the vaccine program and drugs and a variety of other things. Britain has had among the highest death counts in the world, but 2/3 of its adult population have been fully vaccinated. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is urging people to be cautious as England's move to step 4, the end of legal lockdown, curbs on Monday. This means the last remaining businesses still closed, including nightclubs, can finally reopen. Johnson acknowledges a wave of infections and more deaths are inevitable when restrictions end, but said worse harm would come from keeping the economy shut. However, the self-isolation requirement for people exposed to positive cases could hinder the economy too, with over 48,000 cases reported on Thursday. An influential American lawmaker, Brad Sherman, has claimed that in Pakistan's Sindh province, forced conversion of Hindus and Christians is taking place. He urged the Biden administration to ensure the region receives US aid. Congressman Brad Sherman also raised alleged human rights issues in Sri Lanka during a congressional hearing with US aid administrator Samantha Power. He added Sri Lanka's civil war ravaged the northern and eastern parts of that country, and I hope that we are directing our aid to those areas in Sindh and southern Pakistan, Sherman further added. I hope that you are making sure that the region gets its fair share of US aid, particularly because they are dealing with the forced disappearances and forced conversion of Hindu and Christian girls. However, US aid administrator Samantha Power didn't give a direct answer to the issues raised by Sherman. Russia outlawed an investigative media portal for publishing a report last year that alleged President Vladimir Putin had secretly fathered a daughter outside his marriage. The country's prosecutor general declared the portal, Project Media, an undesirable organization as it posed a threat to the foundation of constitutional order and security of the Russian Federation. According to a report in Bloomberg, the article published by Protec had claimed that the daughter of a multi-millionaire woman who is a shareholder in Bank Russia bears a close resemblance to Putin. The bank is under the control of Yuri Kovalchuk, a billionaire close to Putin. The report was dismissed by the Kremlin as tabloid fodder. Putin was married to Lyudmila Alexandrovna Orchestenia till 2014, and the couple have 2 daughters. The media outlet has also published investigative pieces exposing alleged corruption and abuses by top officials and tycoons close to Putin. Russian authorities have designated its editor, Roman Badnin, and several of its reporters as foreign agents. Badnin and several journalists working for the portal were also subjected to raids in June under a 2017 defamation case, just as Project was getting ready to publish an investigative report on Interior Minister Vladimir Korolevtsev and his wealth. Besides Project, 2 popular independent outlets, Meduza and V Times, have been designated as foreign agents in recent months. Last month, a Moscow court outlawed organizations founded by Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny for allegedly being extremists. So for now, that's all. Take care. Bye-bye.